Hi, hello, how are you? I'm Pia. Just a little known fact that I love the movie 10 Things I Hate About You.
You like it? It's the best movie of all time. It's gonna dethrone Citizen Kane.
But it is even lesser known, possibly, that this is based on The Taming of the Shrew by William J. Shakespeare. I actually don't know if that's his middle name. I decided to go ahead and read the source material for one of my favorite movies and compare and contrast, talk about this movie. I just really wanted an excuse to talk about 10 Things I Hate About You, and here I am with my I Love You Baby shirt, and we are just gonna get into it. Now before we get on with the video, I gotta give some love to our sponsor for today's video, which is Pia Prints. Me. Pia Prints is my online store and Etsy shop where we offer loads of things from stickers to cards to bookmarks and so much more. There's some seriously cute stuff over there. I'm not biased at all. And there's loads more stuff coming soon. So you can now use the promo code PEACHPATCH to save you 10% off of any order of $10 or more. Save you that cash. And yeah, happy shopping. Thanks to me for sponsoring myself. And yeah, back to the video. So if you are new to the whole world and you don't want to pick up this beast of a book, it's so long, guys. But if you don't want to read the lovely William J. Shakespeare, let me just summarize this bad boy for you. In the beautiful Padua, we have Bianca, who is the daughter of the wealthy Baptista. She attracts every single suitor in the fucking land to marry her, essentially. But her father has unfortunately decided that as his youngest daughter, she cannot get married until her eldest sister, Kat, or Katerina, or Kate, she's got a lot of names, gets married. So gotta go in height order, in eldest order, in age order. But the trouble comes because Katerina is a shrew. Now what does that mean? It means she like speaks her mind sometimes and doesn't want to get married. So we hate her, obviously. Then here comes, oh my god, I'm gonna butcher all these. Petruchio comes into town from Verona. He goes to meet his friend Hortensio, and Hortensio's like, yo, we're trying to figure out this plan where we got the shrew, but we gotta get rid of her so we can all marry Bianca. And by we all, I mean like three people. Like 3 people are trying to marry this bitch. Anyway, and Petruchio's like, I love a challenge. So he's like, I'm going to tame the motherfucking shrew. Now Hortensio goes on to the other suitors of Bianca and is like, listen, we got this guy, he can marry our shrew, but we need some cash dough money to get it moving. So he gets freaking idiots like Richie Rich, sassy motherfucker Grumio, who's annoying as fuck, to back up the money and secure this sort of bridal exchange, marriage vows things. Anyway, meanwhile, there's lots of disguises, lots of shenanigans, as Shakespeare loves to do. It's kind of confusing and all, honestly, kind of annoying. We have our kind of like lead suitor, who is Lucentio. He is a sweet little cinnamon roll. We love him. He just shows up, he's just like, I love learning, I love like the arts, and I love Bianca. Oh my gosh. Crazy. And he disguises himself as his school teacher because apparently she won't enjoy his presence otherwise, and they fall madly in love and eventually understand it each is the person. So after much persistence on Petruchio's part, Kat kind of falls in love with him, and he is able to tame her. They're quickly married, random shit happens, and then Bianca ends up with Lucentio. As we wanted. Now to quickly summarize 10 Things I Hate About You, which is the movie adaptation that we're talking about. If you haven't seen it, which you should really see it because I'm not gonna do this justice, but in beautiful Seattle lives Bianca Stratford. She's a sophomore at Padua High School, and she's the daughter to the uptight obstetrician. I don't remember his name. Anyway, she's popular, she's adored, every guy loves her. I don't know why. She wants to date all the guys that fall at her feet, obviously. But her dad will not have it. He has one rule and one rule only, and he states this very fervently. He goes, I have one rule, my daughters cannot date until forever. But actually he has like another rule, which is that his daughters can't move far away, which Kat is trying to do. Here's Katerina, that is her name. Stratford, she's true, she's the
heinous bitch is the term used most often.
She speaks her mind in English class.
The oppressive patriarchal values that dictate our education.
Don't we hate her? I don't know. She speaks her mind in English class and does everything she can to defy the patriarchal paradigm, which apparently makes her the worst. Then new kid Cameron arrives at Padua High and is immediately smitten with Bianca.
Oh my god.
The second he sees her, unfortunately for him, local asshole and regional model Joey Donner has his eyes set on her, but mostly just like for conquering her, and he sucks. So he makes a bet like with himself, like no one really gives a shit, but he's like, I am going to bang that, and we're like, okay. Congrats. Cameron and his new friend Michael decided that Cameron should be Bianca's new French tutor.
She's actually looking for a French tutor.
Are you serious? That's perfect.
Do you speak French?
Well, no, but I will.
even though he doesn't know French, which we love. But Cam isn't the only new kid in school. Here comes Patrick Verona. He's back at high school after a year away. Do we know where he was? He smoked cigarettes, might have eaten a whole duck. That's why we love him. Okay, after a ride with Joey Donner, Bianca's dad, I guess also Kat's dad, changes his rule and says, you know what, new rule. Bianca can date once Kat does. And they're like, oh my god.
But she's a mutant. What if she never dates?
Then you'll never date. Oh, I like that.
It's an uproar. Anywho, after hearing of this, Cameron and Michael decide to find the perfect guy for Katerina Stratford. And most guys do not fit the bill. They are terrified. They essentially come up short before bringing in Joey into the plan as the backer. He also wants to get into Bianca's pants for whatever reason and convinces Joey that paying someone to take out Kat is the only way to do that. So he goes up to Pat, says, here's some cash, no money. They negotiate, haggle, a heck and done. Pat gets the money, he'll try to date Kat. So Patrick tries to talk to Kat, but she is not having any of it.
Well, maybe you're not afraid of me, but I'm sure you've thought about me naked, huh?
Am I that transparent? I want you. I need you. Oh baby, oh baby.
And he realized this is gonna be a little bit harder than he thought. So after getting more money from the stupid idiot, Cam and Michael decide to try to help Patrick get Katerina so that Cameron can get Bianca and it's all better. They get Patrick to go to a club where Kat is like seeing her favorite band and they finally are able to like connect a little bit and they end up going to a party together. Now at this party, Kat is not laughing and loving. Bianca is going off with Joey. She's starting to get annoyed by him. Kat in turn gets wasted and dances on a table, which is one of the most iconic scenes in the whole film. And then she like hits her head on a chandelier and like gets a concussion. She then drunkenly tries to kiss Patrick on the drive home, but Bessie leans away and Kat feels horribly rejected. Oh, poor baby. But she did puke on him. So Cameron, after being ignored by Bianca for the entire night, reluctantly drives her home. They have a really like sweet moment where he calls her out on her bullshit and they kiss, essentially. Okay, so Kat stops talking to Patrick and he's trying to get her back by kind of stalking her. He gets some new cash flow money from Joey and he performs this big grand gesture of can't take my eyes off of you.
Can't take my eyes off of you.
Which is this scene. This is from Redbubble, by the way, if you want to buy it. I didn't design it, it's just cute. In the stadium for Kat and being chased by around police. This lands him in detention. Okay, now how do we get homie out of detention already? So Kat shows up, she flashes the teacher, he runs out. Is that kind of problematic? Yes. Okay. Hang out, paddle boat, play paintball. Lots of good times, they kiss. Lots of things. Okay, and then Pat asks Kat, this is so fun, to prom. And she is like very hesitant. She's like, what is your ulterior motive? Because I'm not one of those girls. And he naturally lies his ass off. So she gets mad. So she doesn't want to go to prom, which upsets Bianca because Bianca wanted to go to prom. And so she suits up, takes one for the team, puts on her blue dress. Fucking gorgeous, by the way. So that her sister can go. And at prom, all hell breaks loose. There's fun times, there's dancing, but then Joey shows up and ruins everything. Like, that's just so now that Bianca has chosen Cameron, Joey's a little pissed and punches start a throw-in. Joey punches, or maybe just pushes Michael to the ground, and then punches Cameron to the floor. Then Bianca has her like redeeming moment because like we kind of hated her for like a little bit by punching Joey 3 times, one for her date, one for her sister, and one for her. It's awesome, love it. A girl boss moment, truly. Back at school, day after prom, maybe a couple days after prom, I don't know, is it on a weekend? Who knows? We have the 10 things assignment. Here we go, 10 things. Kat says her 10 things she hates about Patrick, but she hates him because she doesn't really hate him. It's a whole thing. We cry, they cry, she runs out and finds this guitar in her car and now she's Hannah Montana. They make up, all is well. Now let's talk about the similarities, the differences. Let's talk about the premise. Obviously, it has a very similar vibe, lots of similar situations. Definitely the characters are similar, but obviously 10 Things is kind of aged down, though its marriage age is kind of like teenage age in Shakespearean times, but the guys are always hella older, aren't they? And there's like no marriage in 10 Things. Thank God. That would be fucking weird. Also in the play, Bianca has 3 suitors, Gremio, Hortensio, and Lucentio. Hortensio's irrelevant and we don't need him. So there's also just like a fuck ton of characters because like literally every character has like 3 servants. They're unimportant, unnecessary to the plot. We didn't need them. Glad they were cut. And then probably like the major difference between the play, well not really the major difference, one of the major differences between the play and the movie is that obviously Shakespeare loves using his disguise motif, whereas in the movie it is more of a bet motif. So there's lots of little bets going on and lots of dramatic irony there. Which I like a lot better because this is more confusing. So now we have the characters. Katerina is practically the same. She is spicy. That's what I wrote in my notes. Like this line, asses are made to bear and so are you. Like what an absolute legend. The only unfortunate part about the play is that Kat ends up being tamed. So by the end of it, she has no backbone, and now it's just like really lame and subservient to her husband. So, side note about Katerina in the movie, the director, Gil Junger, do I just like love this movie or what? Anyway, wanted to cast Katie Holmes as Kat, which I just wrote no, because we love Julia Stiles. Like, this cast is like phenomenal.
Anybody in this movie, the top 8 best actors of all time.
And then we also have a major difference with did I fucking spell his name wrong? Petruchio. Petruchio also gets kind of annoying, but in the beginning he was like mostly charming and fun, like he is in the movie. But then he gets super controlling. He kind of like deprives Kat of food and clothes. So don't stand. Pat in the movies is the complete opposite. Like, one little tidbit note is how he literally does not take advantage of Kat in any way, especially like in that one scene when Kat is drunk and tries to kiss him. He takes care of her instead, and you know, moves away. So alcohol is not consent. Shakespeare is I would throw it, but okay, and then although I didn't mention it to now, there's like some other side characters that I didn't really include because they weren't that important at the time. There is a character called Mandela, who is Kat's best friend in 10 Things. She doesn't really serve a big purpose in the film. She is just kind of super obsessed with Shakespeare in some odd way. She like feels like they're involved, which is odd. But she's like a nice love interest for Michael, which is cute. Also, like, most of her scenes got cut. That's why she doesn't really have a role. Sorry, it's not her fault. Also, Michael does not exist in the play, but I did some digging, and although they did mention that Michael doesn't exist in the interviews and things that I've read and watched. Oh, so Michael's character does not exist in The Taming of the Shrew, and after kind of reading the play and watching the movie, I feel like he is kind of a combination between the characters of Traino and Hortensio. I mean that Traino is like Lucentio's kind of like, they call him his man, but he's like his servant, which I'm not saying he's his servant in the movie, but they're like besties. They do a lot for each other. And also, because he like orchestrates the bet, and so does Hortensio, so he's kind of like that guy. Also, I found it kind of like, I mean, it's kind of like a throwaway, but like Kat's ambition in the movie, it's like said very late, but it's that she wants to start a band, which comes into play later with how like Patrick like apologizes kind of, but actually in the play, Bianca is learning to play the lute, and I just found that fun. But anyway, music plays a big role in the film, obviously. I think most people I've talked to have really said 10 Things has the best soundtrack, and I fully agree. We fully stand. It is a playlist I listen to probably way too much. It's a great running playlist, great one to work out to. They're mostly covers, which I find kind of funny because I don't know, but it's so 90s and it's just like so perfect. And then there's like the scene at the end of the movie where like with the band on top of the music is very much involved and throughout this film. Alright, let's talk about the endings. As far as the endings go, obviously Shakespeare is a big fan of marriage at the end of his comedies, and there's no marriage in 10 Things. Shocker. Anyway, and oddly enough, I feel like you are rooting way more, at least I am, for Lucentio and Bianca's like endgame in play, because like I said, Petruchio ends up being like an asshole and really controlling, and Kat ends up being subservient like Candace Cameron. And Bianca actually shows at the end that she's like a lot more like Kat than we think, which is also true in the movie. But 10 Things also gets a happily ever after, so now we have a section I've entitled, I'm sorry, let me just like make it all known that I'm not an English major, although I claim to be sometimes. I titled this section Shakespeare-ness. So obviously this is Shakespeare, so we're just talking about the movie. So obviously Mandela, like her whole thing is like, I love Shakespeare and that's her personality, but there's obviously some other like kind of, I guess, less obvious Shakespeare references. Actually, the only class shown in 10 Things I Hate About You is English class. Mr. Morgan, sassy motherfucker, we love him.
Yeah, go to the office, you're pissing me off.
What? Mr. Morgan?
Later!
Although, you know, we do love stereotype. But anywho, and then they're studying the sonnet 141, which, if you don't know it, off the top of your head, here's my... I'm just gonna recite it. And faith, I'm not gonna rap it like Mr. Morgan in the film, because I'm too late for that. Oh man, I'm gonna read this whole thing. In faith I do not love thee for mine eyes, for they in thee 1,000 errors note, but 'tis my heart that loves what they despise, who in despite of you is pleased to dote, nor are mine eyes with thy tongue's tune delighted, nor tender feeling to base touches prone, nor taste, nor smell, desire to be invited, to any sensual feast with thee alone. But my 5 wits, nor my 5 senses can dissuade one foolish heart from serving thee, who leaves unswayed the likeness of man, thy proud heart's slave and vassal wretch to be. Only my plague thus far I count my gain, that she that makes me sin awards me pain. And I have never read that before. I don't know why I did, but I felt like it was appropriate. Anyway, this is the 10 things sonnet. This is the like assignment that they have to do in that English class where she turns it into the 10 things. Which I can actually read that. I have a screenshot of that somewhere for an audition I was doing, but I don't know where it is. Some characters also like quote other things. So like Michael quotes sonnet 5:16 with "Sweet love, renew thy force" to Patrick in the cafeteria, and Kim mirrors him with a line that I really could have sworn was Shakespeare until I looked it up and it wasn't. So they fucking fooled me. So anyway, some other lines in the movie actually play around with like Shakespearean language while not altogether being like quotes from Shakespeare, which I find very interesting because when I was researching this, there were some quotes that stuck out to me, like "Mewling Rampillion wretch" and "Tame the wild beast," which were not anything to do with Shakespeare. But one of my favorite quotes and one of my favorite lines in the movie is in the beginning when Cameron first sees Bianca. He says,
I burn, I pine, I perish.
Let's talk about the best and the worst of mostly the film. let's say the film. I just have to get this out here. Bianca's prom dress is so ugly. Like, we need to discuss. Like, can you even call it a prom dress? It's like a really bad crop top and like a tulle skirt. Like, she's done so dirty, I swear to God. She does kind of victim blame Kat, so like maybe it's karma. So, and Kat looks amazing at prom, so no cap. Like, kind of her outfits are hit or miss for me. I know some people like love it, but some of them are great. Like, I really like her outfit on the boat. That one's good. Oh, I love the leather jacket at the party. That was fun. Oh, something I hate. Shakespeare's hella sexist and misogynistic in this. Are we surprised? But honestly, Kat walked so that Violetta and like other Shakespeare feminist characters could run. So, I mean, the whole premise of having an outspoken woman having to be tamed, you know, is not the vibe. But 10 Things did make this quite progressive. Take like a very misogynistic thing and make it progressive. And to quote one of the screenwriters, and to quote Karen McCullough, we definitely knew the title character would not be tamed at the end, unlike in Shakespeare's Virgin, which we can really appreciate. My other favorite things is that Cameron freaking learned French for Bianca.
I learned French for you, and
imagine someone learning a language for you. Anyway, I learned French for you. Oh my god, dude. Anyway, okay, this might be controversial, but the scene when Kat flashes the like soccer coach teacher guy, he has a name but I forgot, to get Patrick out of detention is kind of cringy. Like, I don't think that would fly today. I mean, they got away with a lot. Oh my god, I forgot to mention this, I love when Joey draws a fucking on Michael's face, like just while he's talking. So fun. Yeah, but the scene would not fly today. I mean, like, is she wearing a bra? These are the things we have to know. And then I really would have loved like a sailing scene because like they mentioned sailing and Cameron is like the sweetest guy. He's like, you want to go sailing? Like, oh my god, I want to go sailing. Get a sailing scene, I would have died. Let's go to reception and lasting impact, starting with 10 Things I Hate About You. 10 Things I Hate About You has a 70% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is not that bad, especially considering it's a film made in the 90s. Well, it came out in 1999, in case you were wondering. And if you want to compare it to another film that came out in 1999, She's All That has a 42%. Ironically enough, She's All That actually made more in the box office. They made about 100 million, and 10 Things I Hate About You made 60.4 million in the box office with a budget of 13 million. This movie is endlessly quotable. Can you ever just be whelmed? You never disappointed me. I want you, I need you, oh baby, oh baby. Why should I live up to other people's expectations instead of my own? There's a difference between like and love because I like my Skechers, but I love my Prada backpack. Katarina, did you make anyone cry today? And who needs love when I have blind hatred? Those are just some of my faves. This is director Gil, is it Jugner? I like don't care if I'm saying it right because I don't really love him. This is his debut feature film, his first directed feature film. He was previously just like a director of TV shows, not that there's anything wrong with that, but I'm just making that clear. So he went on to adapt this movie into a TV show for ABC Family, which is now Freeform.
Tuesday, July 7th, meet two sisters.
The show is directed by the film's director, like I said, who I think just saw it as a cash cow, and I'm gonna keep going with this thread, so just pay attention to it. The one thing he did get right was the dad is the same actor as the dad in the movie, though I'm sure it's not his fault because the writing was really shitty. We don't blame him for anything that happened in that. And I think I saw some of this like while it was airing on ABC Family, but I might be confusing it with What I Like About You, that Amanda Bynes show, so I'm not really sure. And then I said the show had one season of 20 episodes and features all of the lame 2010s actors that were better supporting instead of leads.
My dinosaur went into Jurassic Park here.
I said what I said. And then Gil went on to try again to squeeze more money out of the franchise, or just like even try to make it a franchise because it wasn't really supposed to be. This is so bad, I don't even want to talk about it, but I have to mention it because like, so he co-wrote a script which actually, I do want to mention the series, why I said it was shitty writing is it wasn't written by our queens, who I will mention soon, and who wrote the script for 10 Things. And so this movie, 10 Things I Hate About Life, really don't want to talk about it because it's horribly insensitive, but we have to just go through it. Okay, in 2014 he co-wrote the script to this movie that never came out, thank God. It's about two teens, I believe, who meet while trying to kill themselves and then fall in love, and that's the solution. Like, I really... it's so not right. Anywho, honestly, Gil just tried to tarnish the 10 Things name as best he could, and luckily it didn't come out, so anyways, let's just talk for a second about our loves, the loves of my life, the screenwriters Kirsten Smith and Karen McCullough. I literally have her name in my notes, I'm an idiot, who went on to write hits like Ella Enchanted, Legally Blonde, but not the second one, because that was like that. But they're writing the third one, which is also iconic. They've also written things like The House Bunny. They worked on She's the Man. So they are killing it. This was their first ever script that they wrote and got it made into a film and co-wrote together. They are such icons. I really do love them. When asked about considering a reboot or a sequel to the film, Kirsten Miller said, quote, "Given Heath's death, I think it would be hard to do it without him. I wouldn't want to do a reboot with another cast, since this is the perfect cast to me." Karen McCullough said, quote, "It's come up here and there, but it's always felt wrong to us to think of a movie without Heath. He was such a central part to the story and the sun around what so many of the actors orbited." So I know I didn't mention this before, but obviously our love, Heath Ledger, who plays Patrick Verona in the film, has passed away, and actually his birthday was just I don't know when this video is coming out, but it was relatively recently, and so was the anniversary of this film coming out. And so he's such a central part of the film, and I really do appreciate that the writers didn't really have a hand in all these horribly and insensitive at times and just like not very well thought out projects. Obviously the other stars have gone on to do so many other amazing cool things. Like, this was such a breakout role for all of these actors, and it's just such a good movie. I think also what's great is that we can look back on this as a great representation of a feminist main character who is also not perfect. You know, there's a line in the movie about how she does have kind of her own white privileged lens to view the oppression of the patriarchy. Obviously some other issues in the world, but that's just kind of her world and her orbit, and I think that that helps a lot to maintain longevity of this film. I mean, it came out in 1999, it came out before I was born. I know it's bad, I know. I actually first watched this during quarantine, I think, and I have since seen it like 7 times, so I obviously resonated with it a lot. I love that it's a modern day, like, Shakespeare retelling, but loose enough that it's not gross and misogynistic. Sorry, bestie. And especially with 2 female screenwriters who are just so amazing, an outstanding cast. What more do you want from this film? One of my favorite scenes is also that they got Julia Stiles to dance on the table because she danced so well. How would you be able to do that? I just... Heath Ledger was Julia Stiles for his on-screen kiss? I'm sorry. I wish I could stay here all day. I wish I could say literally everything and just recite the entire movie word for word. I wish I could just recount every little behind the scenes detail that I have read and learned and heard about. I don't think that's necessary. These videos stemmed from a series that I was doing on my channel for years, and that was Book Before Movie, and the resolution at the end of every video would be, yes, you have to read the book before you watch the movie because I'm annoying. But honestly, if you want to read it, if you want to, you know, have some fun Shakespeare times, live your best life, but it does add some fun Easter eggs to the watching experience, and if you're someone like me who has seen 10 Things I Hate About You a bajillion times by now, it does make the watch a little bit different. It's like a little like something extra. I have no solution for this video. I'm just gonna sign off, say if you like this video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, do all of the things, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.